If you're active duty military, veteran, guard, or reservist, and you know you're capable of more, but right now you're in that frustrating phase where you don't know your next mission, and you want a clear way to make an extra $12,000 per month working on your own schedule from anywhere in the world without wasting your GI Bill, without becoming replaceable by AI, and without needing to learn any complicated tech or become an influencer, then pay very close attention to this video, because I'm going to show you how veterans, and even those still serving, are using one overlooked skill paired with the same traits they learned in the military to plug into a rapidly growing $300 billion industry. And the reason it works is simple, because most veterans don't fail to make it online from lack of discipline or work ethic. They fail because nobody showed them the right vehicle. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you what that vehicle is, how it works, and how it's helped other veterans like Eric, who had no online experience or connections and was able to make $4,000 within his first 34 days of implementing what I'm about to show you. Or Richard, who spent thousands on courses with no consistent results, and after working together was able to land his first role, quit his job, move to Thailand, and now makes $8,000 to $12,000 every single month. And the best part is, if we decide you're a fit, we'll work with you until you make your first $12,000 online, and we even back that with a written guarantee. But more on how that works in a minute. Because first, you're probably thinking right now, here we go, another guy on the internet talking about a get-rich-quick thing. And I get it, but I'm not here to sell you a fantasy, because this is not some get-rich-quick thing. And if you're looking for a magical way to make income from a beach while doing nothing, then you might as well click off of this video right now, because this is not for you. This is a real skill that takes work, it takes time, it isn't easy, but if you do it, it just might work for you as well. And if you've already tried looking into ways to make an income online in the past, then you probably know that most of what you see is bullshit. Rented cars, rented girls, gurus selling the dream instead of real skills. The problem is not that making money online is fake. The problem is nobody showed you a real way on how to take the structure, coachability, discipline, communication, you know, the things you learned in the military, and then how to plug those in to a system where the money is already moving, so you can begin building something real that actually feels like yours, and finally stop asking for permission to live your life. That's what this is. Because if you're willing to follow a proven process, show up consistently, and put in the work, then this may be the most realistic way for you to make your first $12,000 online. It's the exact skill that I used to go from serving in the military with no connections, thinking that making money online wasn't real, or at least just not possible for someone like me, to now making over $20,000 per month net profit while working on my own schedule from anywhere in the world. And the only thing I needed to make this happen was a laptop, the traits the military already gave me, and a 3x5 note card. But first, here's the reason this works and why the normal path keeps so many veterans stuck. Because when you leave the military, people basically hand you the same few options. Use your GI Bill, go back to school, get a government job, become a contractor, find a regular 9-to-5. But if you're anything like me, it just feels like a trap. And if you're listening to this, you know exactly what I mean. It's not that you're lazy or you don't want to work. You just want something that actually gives you purpose again. Something you can wake up excited to build that feels more meaningful than collecting a paycheck and waiting for the weekend. And even if you already have money coming in from retirement, the VA, or another job, money alone does not replace the mission. It does not replace the structure, and it does not replace the brotherhood. And that is why the normal path doesn't solve what's actually missing for a lot of veterans who end up leaving the military. Look, like I said, I'm not some random guy on the internet promising fast cars, passive income, and an easy way out. My name is Zadow-Hogan, and I'm just a veteran who went from blending ice cream at Dairy Queen for $8.25 an hour to then serving in the military as an air traffic controller stationed in South Korea. I joined the military looking for purpose, but after joining, I realized as long as I was in, no matter how hard I worked or how long I served, my life was not my own. I would always have someone else controlling my schedule, where I lived, and my income would always have a ceiling. I remember thinking, there has to be more than this. The military gave me structure, standards, and a mission, but it didn't give me freedom. So I left the military thinking that would fix everything, but it didn't. I remember getting a job after separating and looking around at people twice my age who are stressed, depressed, tired, and counting down the years until retirement. I was sitting there in the break room one day when it hit me. If I stay here long enough, this becomes my future. And I started to realize something that most people never say out loud. Retirement is not freedom if you hate the years leading up to it. I mean, if you spend the next 20, 30, or 40 years counting down the days until you can finally start living, then that's not freedom, that's just waiting for your life to begin. And by the time you get there, you've basically started the clock on your deathbed. So like most people who don't want to wait, I started looking for ways to make it online. And I tried everything from dropshipping, which felt like building random websites to sell cheap products I did not care about, to then starting a marketing agency, which just had me cold calling and messaging strangers. I tried Amazon FBA, that felt like gambling with inventory and logistics, and crypto, which left me staring at a screen for hours hoping a chart would save me. Even real estate, which just took too much upfront time and money to get started and see results. After a while, I started thinking making money online was bullshit, but that wasn't the problem. The problem was that I was trying to force myself into vehicles that didn't fit who I was. I didn't want to waste time cold outreaching to people on the internet. I didn't want to build a business that made me feel more isolated, and I didn't want to become an influencer, and I didn't want to spend my life behind a screen running ads, building websites, and selling cheap, shiny shit to people who barely wanted it. I wanted something real, something that aligned with who I already was. something that actually built a skill I could use in every area of my life. Because even back then, I knew I liked having meaningful conversations. I liked communicating. I liked understanding people and getting to know them on a deeper level. And that's when one conversation changed everything for me. I was in the gym and a friend of mine started telling me about remote high ticket sales. At first I brushed it off because in my head I thought, there's no way people are making real money online just by talking to people over Zoom. But then he explained it in a way I had never heard before and it began to make sense. People will see an ad, watch a video, attend a webinar, follow someone on social media, or go through some sort of process, meaning they have intent. And if they're interested, they'll raise their hand to come to you to speak and learn more. There's no cold calling, no knocking on doors, no chasing strangers who don't want what you're selling. And here's a quick overview of the business model. The business owner already has the product, they have the marketing, they have the warm inbound leads, they have interested people buying what they're selling, and once these interested people schedule the call, the business owner or their sales team takes the call and closes them into becoming a paying client. And that's where the real work begins for the business owner. Now they have to manage the account, scale the ads, build funnels, fix automations, hire contractors, do reporting, have one-on-ones with the client, and basically a million other headaches. And this is where they spend the majority of their time. What I did was simply place myself right where the money was already exchanging hands by taking the sales calls off of the business owner's plate and charging a percentage of the sale. All I had to do was show up, follow the process, ask questions, guide the conversation, and when they enrolled, my job was done and I'd collect 10 to 15% commission on each closed deal. You're not selling life insurance to people who don't want it. You're selling high-ticket services and info products that people are already interested in and are coming to you to learn more about. And these online businesses are everywhere. Think of Tony Robbins, Alex Hormozi, Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, Patrick Bet-David, Iman Gadzhi, Andrew Tate, V-Shred, just to name a few. They will sell things like business coaching, masterminds, teaching people how to generate leads for their business, how to build websites, even teaching people how to play piano. And if you're wondering why these business owners would trust you to close deals for them, well, the truth is they probably won't at first. That's why most people start as a setter where you chat with warm inbound leads in the DMs and ask the right questions in order to book them onto a call with a closer. And for this, you'll still earn 5% commission on each closed deal, all from your phone. So if you help bring in just 2 sales on a $25,000 offer, at 5% commission, you'd make $2,500 from sending messages from your phone. And for the first time ever, making money online felt real. Not because I saw a guru on the internet, but because I met someone in real life who was actually doing it. Someone who was not that different from me. And if he could do it, why not me? And that realization changed everything because all of a sudden I understood I didn't need to build the next Amazon or master AI or coding. I could simply use the same skills the military already gave me to create income on my own schedule from anywhere in the world while building something that actually gave me purpose again. It was never that I lacked potential or that I was not smart enough or lucky enough. It was that nobody showed me where to apply what I already had. I went all in. I learned the skill, I showed up daily, I put in the reps, I got around people who were already doing it, and eventually I landed my first remote high ticket offer working with some of the biggest names in the industry that you've probably heard of. I still remember the first time it really hit me. I was in my rooftop apartment in Bangkok, Thailand during the water festival when I closed my first deal and earned my first commissions. And it felt almost surreal, not just because of the money, but because for the first time in my life, I felt aligned. I had freedom, I had a mission, but more importantly, I was not drifting anymore. I was building something real while developing a skill surrounded by people who were bettering themselves. And eventually, I realized this was bigger than me because there are thousands of veterans right now who are exactly where I was. Disciplined, capable, coachable, able to show up daily, able to operate under pressure and execute, but stuck because nobody has showed them how those traits translate into the modern online economy. They think they need more motivation, they think they need another degree, they think they need to go build some massive business from scratch, or that making money online is reserved for people who are different than them, but that's simply not true because most veterans already have what they need to win. They're just missing the right vehicle, the right roadmap, and the right environment. And that is why this matters to me. Not just because I want to help veterans make more money, but because I want to help them get their mission and purpose back in a world designed to take it away. And that's exactly what happened when I began working with Areno, who came in like many of you watching this right now. Disciplined, coachable, willing to work, but unsure of where to actually apply those traits. And once he had the roadmap, the support, and the right environment, he was able to land a remote role and finally start building something real. Now he's making an extra $3,000 to $6,000 working part-time living in Serbia. And then there's Thomas, who was working in HVAC, tired of physical labor and trading his time and body for a paycheck, and he wanted a way to replace the job he had without quitting before seeing any results. And after 2 months of working together, he got hired as a remote closer, was able to leave his job in HVAC and transition full-time into remote sales. These aren't outliers. Most veterans who we work with land their first remote job within 30 days of working together, and then go on to make their first $12,000 within 6 months. And now that you know what remote high-ticket sales is, you might be wondering, what's the specific step-by-step process of how you can take this and implement it successfully to achieve these same results? And I've broken it down into a simple 4-step roadmap designed to help you go from no online experience, no connections, and no clear path to learning the skill of remote high-ticket sales, landing your first real opportunity, and building towards a consistent remote income. But before I break it down, you need to understand why this works. Because most people trying to get into remote sales make the same mistake. They try to learn the skill and then find the opportunity separately. They buy a course, watch a bunch of videos, practice by themselves, then get told to apply to random job posts on LinkedIn and somehow figure out a way to get business owners to trust them with their leads. And that is where most people get stuck, because the hardest part is not just learning what to say. The hardest part is getting your first real opportunity, knowing which offers are worth your time, avoiding bad companies, getting feedback, and not being left alone during the part where most people get stuck or worse, give up. So instead of giving you information and hoping you figure it out, we help you get positioned, get placed, get feedback, and improve once you are actually on an offer and making money. That is the Veteran Accelerator Roadmap, and it works through 4 main steps. Step 1 is skill and placement. This is where we take you through the step-by-step process on going from complete beginner to learning the skill of remote high-ticket sales and then landing your first real offer and making your first $12,000. We do this by giving you the scripts, frameworks, role plays, objection handling, tonality, and call structure from tens of thousands of dollars we've invested into different coaching and mentors and condensing that into a way that fits veterans perfectly. And not by using old school pushy sales tactics, which if you use will end up doing way more harm than good. Instead, you learn how to ask the right questions and how to guide the conversation naturally by becoming the person that people are eager to pay to solve their problems. And again, we are not just teaching you the skill and then leaving you to figure out the rest on your own, because that is where most programs fall apart. They teach you the basics, then tell you to go find your own job by sending out cold messages to business owners and hoping someone gives you a chance. That's why we created step 2, finding and filtering offers. Now, the good news is that there is still a lot of demand for this because business owners are desperate for people who can step in and get them off of the phones. The bad news is not every opportunity is created equal. For example, I was selling an $89,000 ghostwriting service to warm leads who wanted us to write and publish a book for them. Some days, I had prospects closing themselves since they already knew and trusted the business owner who had over 1 million followers on social media and multiple books published. While another person could be selling a $5,000 product with no real proof, weak lead quality, and a sales process that has not been validated yet. Do you see the difference? Because with the right offer, you only need a few sales to make life-changing money, and that is exactly what we'll work on together. We'll also give you access to our private network of business owners, agencies, and recruiters who are looking to hire veterans today, opening you up to real opportunities within our first 24 hours of partnering together. This is so that you don't need to waste your time outreaching to people who never asked to hear from you, and instead will have opportunities coming to you. Because these agencies and recruiters are paid by the business owner to hire, train, and manage their sales team, making it free for you to apply. And for those watching this who schedule a call on the next page and actually show up on time, I'll give you that list of these agencies and recruiters for free. The third step in this 4-part process is the camaraderie and support, because you will not be doing this alone. You'll be around other veterans who are learning the same skill, who are already on offers, making money, and have already made a career out of this and are on the same mission as you. And if you have been out of the military for any amount of time, you already know how important this is, because one of the hardest parts about leaving the military is not just losing the paycheck, it's losing the environment and the people around you who are going through the same thing as you and have your best interest in mind. That matters because the fastest way to make this feel real is to stop being the only person in your circle trying to figure it out. Most veterans fail online because they're isolated or trying to build something new while everyone else around them is telling them to play it safe, get another job, or wait until retirement. But when you're in the right environment, everything changes. You see other people doing it, you get reminded that this is possible. You have people to ask questions to, you have people to improve with, you have people who understand where you're coming from, and you have a community that gives you back some of the brotherhood, structure, and accountability most veterans lose after service. The 4th step is guidance. This is so that you don't end up on your own just watching videos hoping you're doing it right. You'll get live coaching and sales clinics, group calls, one-on-one support, call reviews, feedback, accountability, and direct support for if and when you get stuck. And if you remember that 3x5 note card I mentioned earlier, well, I've boiled the entire call process down onto that note card, and when followed correctly, we'll get prospects closing themselves because you'll be seen as a trusted advisor, not some pushy salesperson. And once you're on your first offer, we continue by helping you improve your skill, build out your track record, update your positioning, and then move towards better offers where you're selling more expensive products with a stronger sales process, meaning higher commissions and more money in your pocket. So when you put all the steps together, it's skill, placement, filtering offers, camaraderie, guidance, and support, all designed to help you turn what the military already built into you into a real income generating skill online. And while you could try doing all of this on your own, most people waste months, if not years, struggling to figure it out. With my roadmap, you'll get immediate access to the only clear path on getting paid in weeks, not years. Just ask Bailey, who is introverted and hated speaking to people he didn't know. He did not come in as some natural born salesperson. He just followed the process, stayed consistent, and within 60 days of working together was able to start consistently earning $4,000 to $6,000 per month while still working his main job. And then there's Peter, who started working full-time as a remote closer, and after 5 months of applying the same skill every single day, he was finally able to break into the right offer, working full-time, and made $22,000 in a single month. Now, I'm not saying every person gets these same results, because they don't. But what these examples do prove is that when you combine the right skill, the right offer, and the right support, veterans can turn what they already have into real remote income. So here's my guarantee. I will help you learn the skill of remote high-ticket sales while guaranteeing you land an offer that aligns with your goals, and I'll even personally work with you one-on-one until you make a minimum of $12,000 per month, or I'll just work for you for free until you do. Like I said, I'm not some guru, and most people will charge you $5,000 to $10,000 and then disappear once they teach you the basics. I stay with you until you win. If that sounds fair to you, then fill out the form below this video to apply for your one-on-one strategy session with me or a member of my team. On this call, we'll look at your individual situation, your military background, your goals, and how we can help you achieve them using our Veteran Accelerator Roadmap. We'll also cover every step of the roadmap in detail, from learning the skill to finding the right company and then landing your first remote high-ticket offer. But I want to be very clear. If you book a time, show up from a quiet place, no distractions, not while you're driving, and have a pen and paper ready to take some notes. And be ready to talk through your current situation honestly. Because we can only help people who are serious enough to show up, and showing up to the call is just the first step. Now let me be clear about who this is not for. This is not for you if you are looking for passive income. This is not for you if you want to get rich quick scheme. This is not for you if you are stuck in information gathering mode, or you just want to ask random questions looking for a magic button you can press to make all of your problems disappear. This is for active duty, veterans, Guard and reservists who are able to show up consistently and follow a proven process in an industry filled with people who struggle to show up daily and put in the reps. If you do, you will stand out in a sea of mediocrity, and there is no reason you will not succeed as long as you follow my roadmap, which is by far the fastest and easiest way for any veteran to make their first $12,000 online. You see, this business model is still so new, and there is nobody who is doing it like me. And this is because I have the largest network of business owners who are looking to hire veterans and high-ticket closers today. And I've been able to position myself inside of a multi-billion-dollar industry as the middleman who is able to connect veterans with these business owners. So think about it like this. Best case, you apply, we're a good fit, and you just found the fastest way to land a $12,000 per month remote sales role without wasting years figuring it out on your own. Worst case is you just got a free in-depth consultation worth thousands, because normally getting placed in top-tier offers without the right connections is nearly impossible. However, I have vetted 7- and 8-figure companies in my network actively hiring veterans today, which is why I can guarantee placement on an offer that aligns with your goals. But this message will be seen by hundreds of people every day, and I can only place around 8 to 10 new clients per month. Companies are interviewing closers this week, so don't waste any more time and fill out the form below right now to apply for consideration. At this point, you really have two options, as I just gave you the only system designed to help veterans take what they already learned in the military to make their first $12,000 or more online. Option one is you forget everything I told you today and go back to doing what you've always been doing, and you'll get the same results you've always been getting. But let's face it, if you were happy with your current situation, you wouldn't be listening to this message right now, but you are, which tells me you're ready for a change. So let's talk about option two. You say fuck it and give yourself a shot by accepting that even if you're not 100% sure yet, in order to put yourself in the best possible position to make your first $12,000 online as fast, easy, and safe as possible, then it only makes complete logical sense to get a proven roadmap from someone who has already done it before and has helped other veterans do the same. Because there are people who are less qualified than you doing the things that you want to do simply because they decided to believe in themselves and take action. With that being said, to get started today, all you have to do is simply fill out the application form below this video to see how I'm able to guarantee results for my clients, and more importantly, if this is even something that aligns with what you're looking for. Because the cost of staying where you are right now is not just money, it's time, it's purpose, it's another year of drifting and another year of knowing you're capable of more but doing nothing with it. So take the time right now to apply below this video, and if you qualify, only choose a time you can actually protect, show up prepared, and let's see if this is the right next step for you. Talk to you soon.